good morning, and welcome to Your Business in Digital. We are live. We are so excited to be live here with you this Wednesday. Oh, Michael, Michael just almost fell out of his chair. So we're like holding
Good
ourselves together.
morning.
Yeah. We have comedy routines in the back. How's everyone doing this morning? We have a jam-packed show. It is going to be awesome. We're going to be moving through a lot of things, but we are super excited to have this conversation today. We are talking about your business in digital. So let's go to the intro. All right. Good morning, and welcome to Your Business in Digital. This is the show where we talk to you about how to really, really be effective with digital marketing, all your digital marketing efforts, and how to see that, return on investment, how to make sure that you are seeing your business goals achieved through digital. So we talk to you here about strategies, ways to get it done. And what we do is we bring together, a true small business. All the experts are here. We have sales in the building. We have finance in the building. We have operations in the building. And of course, we have marketing in the building, right? So it's really a true small business coming together so that you can understand the nuances. What does the CFO think about, us paying more money to drive more leads, right? These are the conversations that you are having in the boardroom. So we are bringing this to you here through a digital perspective. All right, well, let's get to the housekeeping. All right, so we want you to connect with us. We are live on YouTube, we are live on LinkedIn, we are live on Facebook and Instagram, but we want you to connect with us anywhere you can, right? If you can't make the live show, that's fine. Join us everywhere podcasts are found. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon, we're on Google. We are everywhere podcasts are found, so you can definitely listen to us later on. Share this with a business executive, share it with a small business owner. Again, we're talking about strategies that get you to that place of digital helped me increase my revenue by 10%, by 20% year over year. Those are the conversations that we want you to have. So share the show. All right, guys. So we are moving on along. How's everyone doing today? Everyone good? Neil's
Happy
like,
Wednesday.
yeah,
It's
happy
a
Wednesday,
fabulous Wednesday. Thank you.
right? We're 3
Excellent.
minutes in, and I'm like, all right, I'm rolling on to recap now. All right, Nia. All right, so recap of the last show. This was a great show. We talked about the lead nurturing, and we talked about that buyer's journey, especially from the B2B buyer's journey, right? And what does that look like? The different stages of the buyer's journey. We talked about awareness, consideration, decision making, and of course, in between there are little sub stages that you need to pay attention to. It comes down to really being able to build those strong relationships and understanding the content that is necessary to feed all parts of the B2B buyer's journey, right? Who are the decision makers? Who are the people that introduce you to the decision makers? The business has its personality, and the people have their personalities, right? How do you segment your B2B leads? You want to segment them in a way where it makes sense, right? Is it demographic information? Is it pain point information? Is it budget information? You really want to segment them in a way that makes sense for you to achieve your business goals, but think about that segmentation. It has to be personalized and super relevant to them as well. And how can you nurture leads who are not yet ready to buy? Move them to a place where they're listening to you a little bit more, right? Maybe you do a podcast like we do over here, where they're listening to you. They're constantly, you're top of mind. So when they're thinking about their digital marketing and their digital marketing efforts, you're like, oh, you know what? I listened to this podcast with these people that are amazing. It's called Your Business in Digital. I might work with them. Right? And that, my friend, is the recap. Guys, any thoughts? Did I leave anything else out?
No, I think you got it all. I
Yeah.
know we're feeling like time pressure this morning, so I've got to relieve that pressure, right? There's no time pressure. We're good. But it was a great discussion, again, talking about the fact that we all hear that term, lead generation. But lead generation is just the start. You've got to nurture that lead over a period of time. And it was a great discussion, especially focusing on those longer nurturing times for some types of businesses, especially in the service sector.
I thought it was good. And what we always emphasize as well is make sure we have all of the family at the table when we're having the discussion, so that when we're not wasting money from the very beginning, we're aligned and focused on our focus, bringing whatever that focus is, and we identify to and through every component of the sale for our continuum. And I thought that was really important that we continue to emphasize that, albeit speaking from a lead generation perspective, we brought everybody in the family to the table to ensure that their voice was heard and that we weren't missing anything and going down a rabbit hole.
I love the conversation because I think it's so in tune with what we always say in this going beyond the likes, right? Because everybody's about lead generation, get the leads. But where is the conversation? Where is the conversation about what you do with the leads, and what is the structure behind converting, taking that lead from just being a lead to somebody that's building a relationship with you and till eventual conversion. So I think it was just right up our alley about just going beyond the likes and going beyond the general conversation of, oh, let's get the leads. What do you do next? I think I really love the conversation.
Oh, I love that. I love when we get this. I love when we get to say, wait, where's my camera? Try not to fall off your chair again, buddy.
need to get me one of those.
I'll definitely try.
Everyone, we need some new Go Beyond the Like swag. Yeah, that was our test run of swag. So we need to get some new Go Beyond the Like swag. All right. Well, hashtag Go Beyond the Likes. Love that. All right. Well, everyone knew what happened yesterday, man. Yesterday was a big day for the world.
It was, right?
We weren't even supposed to have a hot topics, but we have no choice. So Facebook was down, Instagram was down, Messenger was down. I mean, like it was insane. The world came to a pause, except on LinkedIn. So I was talking to Michael. It's funny story. I was driving. I was heading to actually to an event with the chamber to Testimonial Tuesdays where Deborah Mitchell interviewed me. So that was super exciting. And so we're talking, and I'm like, oh man, this is they're down. And I literally say to him, "Thank God for LinkedIn." So he's like, "That's the hot topic tomorrow." I'm like, "What's the hot topic?" He was like, "Thank God for LinkedIn." And so, it really kind of comes back to what we talk about all the time, right? You cannot just have your business in one platform. You need to ensure that your business is really positioned in all the right places where your audiences can find you. And if something happens, if something goes wrong like this, that they can still reach out to you and connect with you, right? So this really rocked the world. This something went wrong. Oh my God. Okay, so lessons for business. Diversify your marketing channels. We've said that to you guys from day one. Right? Make sure you understand all the places that your target audience hangs out, and make sure that you're doing things like collecting email addresses or connecting phone numbers, or you have a place where you guys meet and connect so that you're not so dependent on Facebook, Meta, Instagram, all the places, right? While I said, thank God for LinkedIn, you still want to make sure you have something that's within your world. Invest in building your own community. I mean, I said that. Build your own community. That becomes so important to you because they understand how to connect with you, where to connect with you. So building a community is really important, and leveraging something like this is a great way to build a community. Communicate effectively during disruptions, right? So if you can place information in other places, so if there's a disruption on Facebook, you want to make sure you're getting onto your other platforms and saying, hey, here's where we are, here's what's happening, and start getting that messaging out to your customers as much as possible. But you want to make sure that you are positioned that if something like this happens, and it happens all the time, right? It's not the first time, that you are really ready. Your business is ready to stand without Meta, without, Instagram, with all the things, right? So Any questions, any thoughts, guys?
Listen, exactly as you said, that story, you were looking, you were going to an event, the event information was on Facebook. That's we were talking, and you were like, oh, how am I going to find this thing? It's on, and then you're like, oh, it's on LinkedIn. Thank God for LinkedIn. So again, that holistic strategy of, as you said, making sure you're on multiple platforms, making sure you're that opportunity to be the first one to reach out to customers, to reach out to potential clients that you're now building a relationship with, and be the first source of information, of correct information, is a huge opportunity.
Yeah. It's so funny that you say that, because yesterday I went to a networking event, and as soon as we found out about it, they had a new WhatsApp group. So I just joined the group and I was just like, hey, Facebook, Instagram down, boom, here's the link, da 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 da, boom. So it really also is an opportunity to now say, hey, you know about this stuff first, right? We should listen to you a little bit more. Just a little bit.
I will tell you my experience with it. I thought that somebody had hacked my account when it went through, because it asked me to log in again and know that password is not right. I said, what in the hell is going on this app? And then I realized that I had that light bulb moment of, oh, and across all of the components, and I immediately thought about our past shows where we have invited our clients to have always a multi-channel approach. And from the onset, own your messaging, own your communication and your relationship with your client. And that means offline, including email, including your website. Are you driving them back to your website at all occasions, so that that's the first place in most occasions that they're going to find information about you? And that goes through all of our communication, even the lead nurturing, when we're sending out emails, driving them back to our website to look at our vlog and our blog, taking them through that journey or that sales cycle. And that will help you for all occasions when this happens. And that's just a blip. That's a non-issue for you when you own your client messaging and understand where things go. So I had that occasion yesterday, and I literally said, well, look at this. Look at here. So yes, fabulous hot topic today, my friend. Fabulous hot topic.
So, funny story. I had no idea that all this happened yesterday. I was so busy with work that by the time I picked up the phone, how much of an hour the phone was down, and I was head down doing work. And I picked it up and I saw everybody talking about, oh, the world is right again. Oh, Facebook, it was wrong. Facebook was down. Like, okay, well, I missed the whole episode.
But that's how you want to be as a business, right? You want to be like, that's no big whoop. We continue to operate. We continue to, connect with our audience and so on. That's exactly what you're aiming for. So I think that's not a bad thing at all that you were oblivious for a while.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You were getting the work done. So somebody got to get the work done. All right. So great hot topic. So we're moving on along again. Jam back show. Are moving on to talk about the 50 Days to 50 campaign, a transformation worth its weight in gold. So for those of you who are just joining us, I turned 50 in, well, not 50 days anymore. It's like 40 some odd days, 42, 40 days, something like that. But it was 50 days when we started the campaign. So the goal of the campaign is to really leverage my 50th birthday to run and build an evergreen campaign for Monovan Digital. So some of the things we're doing are, things like building out a webinar series. So I ran this webinar, I ran a workshop, and we're turning it into a webinar. And that webinar is to really help us connect people to our workshop and really sell seats to the workshop eventually. But what we're doing is really connecting the personal along with the professional sides of things, right? So I started recording some of my friends. I'm doing some recordings today. So recording some of my friends telling stories of when we connected, when we met, how we met, and looking at traits that they saw in me then that have translated over to the business. So I did one so far with my really great friend Touré, and oh my God, it was like 20 minutes of just pure laughter. It was pretty funny, and just the perspective he had, So So today I am actually recording my old boss from St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So I'm recording another friend from when I worked at Pearson Education. So getting some of those personal perspectives, and I have a childhood friend that I'm gonna interview, and as well as a friend who I hung out with while I was in college. So kind of getting those perspectives. And so that's where we are. We're building out landing pages. We built out the webinar series. We built out the landing pages. And so the campaign's in motion because I'm also out there being more visible in the Orlando area, really trying to connect and meet with new people. So, and that's really turning out to be great because it's moving us to, yesterday morning, I went to a networking event that led to a lead that has booked on my calendar already. So I think as the campaign starts to unfold, we'll see what happens. So those are some of the highlights. It's been a lot. Oh, wait, I forgot about the personal side of the 30 days of yoga and 40-day cleanse. I'm on day 6. Day 6 of, I have to actually leave for class because I'm on day 6 of 30 days of yoga and Pilates. And I'm on day, I think, 12 of my reset and recharge. So yeah, no coffee for 2 weeks. That's the update. Any quick questions?
How are you managing without your coffee?
It was a challenge. It was a challenge day one, and I mean, now I just miss the routine of it and the warmth of it. I'm here drinking. This is like lemon water, so I look forward to. I should be back on coffee. I should be back on coffee next week. But I'm alive.
T, I am loving your walk down memory lane. And because it takes, I know you keep in touch, and that's, a testament to your relationships from your past, that it's more than just a professional thing. It becomes personal for you. But that to take that walk down memory lane, I think is so lethargic. It's so energizing for you because it shows you where you've been and how far you've come in the lives that you have touched, not just on a personal level, but professionally, and how those tentacles are deep and strong and thick. And I think that is quite a great thing that you're doing for you personally, but to watch a professional arc. And it's just not, we're on here and it's still going that way for you. It's not doing that. And I hope you're really paying attention to that and really acknowledging that, because it's important to smell, take a moment, breathe deep and breathe in and smell those roses for yourself. I think that's a fabulous thing you're doing.
Yeah, I was telling Michael yesterday, I'm like, I'm starting to feel like all these weird, I don't know, feelings.
The strange things, we call them feelings. Yes, we call them feelings.
Like, okay.
But I think this was this is a great introduction to our next segment, because it's the power of storytelling, right? And you'll be already seeing the traction that it's having. People want to know about the people that they may want to work with. That's the stage. We're not saying that people are diving head over heels, but you're already getting that response. We're seeing that response that we anticipated and we hoped for and we planned for, but it's actually coming. So great start. Keep going.
Yeah.
50 to 50.
50 to 50. All right. Awesome. All right. So guys, can I get a drum roll? Can I get some sound effects? Right. We are super excited today because, oh my God, this is okay. So Deborah Mitchell, TV and Emmy nominated producer, is joining our show. She'll be here with us every Wednesday, and today is her first day. She's joining the show. Please bring Debbie to the stage. Yay! Debbie, how are you this morning?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me back. Oh my God. So
excited. In a more permanent setting. All right, so team, I'm gonna bring Debbie into focus. See you guys in a while.
So I'll
All
jump
right.
right in. Okay.
Yeah.
So I
Please
became an
introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm a television producer. I've done it for 20 years, more than 20 years. But in 2020, I pivoted to become an entrepreneur. My TV skills are coming in very handy now. So I head up Deborah Mitchell Media Associates, and I work with entrepreneurs, corporate executives, authors, and thought leaders to strategically use the power of video storytelling to engage and grow their audience while elevating their brand's presence online. So it's pretty much from TV to the boardroom, using video content as your secret weapon for business growth. Video is a key component in digital marketing. It's a great way to establish your brand awareness and audience engagement while staying competitive in the marketplace. So whether you're using taped video, live video, short or long form video, video content is the secret weapon for business growth. And I'll tell you why. Video delivers information in an entertaining way that resonates with people. It's a combination of the visual and the audio and the sounds. It makes the content easier to receive and process. And as a result, it allows people to process the information a little bit better. So using video is good for a brand. It's also good for the budget because video lives online forever. It's a built-in sales and marketing team for any company because you're constantly promoting your brand because it's online and it's free. So you're saving money. So anyone, anytime, or any place can find your video. And especially if you're on YouTube, you always hear people say, go to YouTube University. A fellow YouTube producer said recently that video content is 24/7 available. Her name is Edie Clark, as a matter of fact. She was saying video is available all the time. So it's good to have it online. And if you're doing a live stream like this, it's a cost-effective way to get your information out, connect and engage with your audience in real time. And once it's over, you can repurpose the video and use it in other forms on different platforms. So who should create content video? Good question. Anybody can create it. I always say everybody has a story, and it's true. Good candidates for creating video content include executives, individuals who want to establish themselves as thought leaders, or a business owner who has something to sell or promote. I produced a couple of authors when they were launching their books, and they did a book launch. It was during the pandemic, and it still worked. It was great. They were able to get a large crowd online and reach their target audience. So that's what you have to think about. So what video content should you create? People always worry that they will run out of content. That's totally impossible. Ideas and content, they're everywhere. You read something, you talk to someone, your personal stories. If you really think about it, you can have something to say every single day of the year. And if you can't think of something, then you get a producer. You hire me, I'll help you think of it. So content is not a problem. It could be educational content, tutorial content. I thought about it this morning. If for your business, you could actually go online, read some Google reviews, and answer those Google reviews. Your customers will get a kick out of that. So whether it's good or bad reviews, still answer them. It's good for you. It's still video. It's still content. So you're taking your customer on a journey, and you have to figure out what kind of journey you want to take with the content. So what kind of content should you create? Let's see. Or pretty much why should you create content? Hold on. It's visibility. You want to have visibility. You want to have a relationship with your audience. It allows people to get to know you. And people like to do business with people that they feel they know. So I specialize in live streaming, and that allows companies, businesses to go live, create long form content, engage, similar to what you're doing here with your business and digital. So you engage with your audience, you can answer their questions, you can give them the information directly, and it addresses their concerns right then and there. So that's a great form of content creation. When and how should you create your video content? Now, there's no time like the present. So figure out what social media platforms you want to be on. You want to figure out where your target audience is and create content for them so that you can build a community. You don't have to be on every platform. Maybe one or two is good. And you can start by dipping your toe in by using your smartphone. I actually create my video content with my smartphone. Start slow, maybe start with 30 or 60, 30, 60 to 60-second snippets of information. And make sure that you have a microphone so you have good audio, some good lighting, either a ring light or you can have natural light, get close to a window, and start practicing. Get it on tape. Look at it, post it. I'm going to wrap it up by saying this. All content is good. Video content is good content. I say consider live streaming regularly like this because it gives you a chance of being online, and maybe a mainstream TV producer will find you. They're always looking for a guest to feature on their programs. If you're going to start, these are some of the things you should start before producing your video. Have a plan. Think about what you want to put out there and be consistent. Don't start and stop. Commit to the process. Identify your target audience. Figure out why you want to stream, what you want to talk about, and set those clear goals. Focus on quality, and that's where I talked about having good audio. So invest in a nice little mic. Make sure that you have good lighting, and start creating that video. Thanks, guys. I get an applause. Oh my God.
That was awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so I'm going to kick it to the team. Any questions for Debbie?
You know, Debbie, I'm so happy that you're here with us. It is profound information that you're providing, and to have it from an expert in the space for those in our community who are gun shy about this, it's really important. I mean, we've done this for a couple of seasons, and I remember when we went from audio to video, how we were scared, frightened, breaking out cold sweats every day until we got to this space where we're laughing as we're going live. And I remember the first time that we were practicing, and I was, and Chantal and Nia we were doing, I think, 13 takes initially until we just said loosen up and did exactly what you said, work the plan, make sure that we had a strategy in place, and then it became routine for us. And I thought that was so on point when you mentioned those components of it. My question for you is, as you are working in your professional space where you were before, and now that you're working with entrepreneurs, is there one or two specific themes that you find that you're repeating over and over again that has been your lanyard, you're something extra that you brought to the table that you lean into all the time?
Oh my gosh, it's the authenticity of the story. I try to find that in what the client or the potential client is talking to me about, because they need to be clear about what story they want to tell. So even when I was interviewing a guest for a show, you know, sometimes people are just all over the place telling the story. And I was like, okay, let's pull it in. Let's focus. Let's focus on what the message is that the story you want to tell, because they only had 3 minutes to tell the story on air. So they really had to be, it had to be very focused. So I find myself doing that same thing with clients, potential clients now. They have so many things that they want to talk about, could talk about, think is important. So we spend time sitting down and just really focusing on what is the important points that they want to get to their customers or their audience. Thank you, Nina. Thank you.
Go for it, Andrea.
So my question has to do with, what advice do you give persons like myself, for example, who the story, you're in a technical space. You're in a technical space and you're trying to bring this story out, or you're trying to do video content. What advice do you give people like that? Because I always say accounts is boring, right? Like my area of expertise is actually quite boring. A lot of people would find, well, there isn't really any story there.
There's always,
Yes.
oh no, there's accountants.
So
Money?
So right. So what advice do you give people like that? I mean, it doesn't have to be accounts related, but just generally people who may have topics that are not generally outwardly exciting.
Not
How do
sexy
you
enough. You don't
guide
think
them?
accounting is sexy?
Yes.
Oh my! I think people love money topics. Oh my gosh! You can talk about. Well, think of the calendar. You know, April is your busy time, so you're preparing people things that you tips on what you might forget to write off for your taxes. I mean, people love tips, so I'm all big on tips. They love lists. The 5 things that you make sure that you ask your accountant when you sit down with them. They love. Oh my God, money is sexy. You're underestimating yourself. Wait, I'm thinking of more. Hold on. You can recommend the top if someone doesn't want to hire an accountant, you want them to hire an accountant, but if they can't afford it or they don't want to, the top
Yeah.
software that they can use that's easy to use. I like the idea of knowing what to ask your accountant, because sometimes go to my accountant. I call him all the time. I say, Brian, how come you didn't tell me about this? He said, what have you been reading? Because I read everything. So, I give them a list of things to go in. To ask the accountant. You have to be your own advocate. So people need to feel that they are equipped. So I think you have a lot to talk about.
So there's always, so basically no topic is never sexy.
Exactly. You make it sexy. Yes.
I agree with what Deborah's saying about you, Andrea, because I got hooked with a guy that talked about sleep. Like he gave, information on circadian rhythms and how do you understand yours. And I was captivated. And I thought about exactly what you said, Deborah, the story. He told a story. And Andrea, you tell really, really funny, great stories. You really do.
And even one more, you can, tell your kids how to teach kids from a young age, how to be responsible for money. Oh, there are a ton of topics. We can talk later, Andrea.
Oh, Debbie, this was awesome. I'm so glad that you're going to be a part of the show. We were super excited to have you today. So thank you. And we look forward to, continuing to have you on the show and bringing those video tips and, just the things that business executives should be thinking about, video as a thought leadership strategy. This is what our whole show is about, right? We do this show to showcase our expertise in marketing, in sales and accounting, and connecting it back to the digital space. So that's why we do this show. And we believe that there's so much value. The other thing is that we find ourselves in a space where we're content rich, right? We always have content to choose from with this live video. So everything you said applies to exactly what we're doing here. So it's like, this is an example.
Perfect example.
So
yes.
we look forward to having you back. See you again. Take it easy.
See you later. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye. All right. Well,
that was a great segment. Welcome, Debbie. Great segment. I think the only thing I'd add there is I loved how she highlighted is know your target audience. How many times have we said in preparation for this show, who are we talking to? We ask ourselves that continuously and we answer it continuously.
Right, small business owners, business executives, anyone looking to leverage digital to really grow their business effectively.
And that right there helps us keep our talk track dead on.
Yeah, you have to start you have to start with like, who are these people? So I see them now. I'm like, I see you. I see the personas of them. So 100%. All right, so we're moving on along. Jam-packed show. So we're moving on to our other segments. Go beyond the likes. So this is where we take you beyond the likes and follows to that place of really the true strategy. This is where it gets really technical, really practical. These are the things that you should be doing, or if you're working with an agency, or in this instance for this topic, let's move on to the topic name. If you're talking, we want to connect finance and marketing. So dollars and clicks, the interplay between finance and digital marketing strategies. So again, this is a way for you to really make sure that your CFO is involved in digital and digital marketing. Super, super, super important. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Andrea. Let's go.
And as Debbie just said, money is sexy.
Money is sexy.
Well, yes, apparently money is very sexy now. So, I mean, when we came up with this topic, I was really trying to understand, where does the CFO fit in all of this marketing discussion? And I mean, it's something that we've always been talking about on the show. We always use words like not operating in silos, bringing finance into the conversation. But what we really wanted to accomplish with these couple of points here is really showing you where exactly does the CFO fit, and what are the type of things that maybe the CFO needs to be considering in their head as these conversations are happening, and not just sitting on the sidelines and watching it happen and signing off the marketing budget Stevie Wonder style, as I call it, just blindly. I call it the Stevie Wonder because people just out here signing things without reading. But yeah, so that's what we want to take over these points, right? So let's get into the first point.
Let's go for
And
it.
the first point we want to talk about is how are marketing budgets allocated and managed to ensure effective digital marketing campaigns. So the first thing we want to talk about here is, well, setting a budget limit first of all. So finance is, well, that's what we're there for. We usually tell you how much you can spend, how much you cannot spend. So there's usually some sort of limit involved because you don't usually have a limitless budget. So finance provides insights into the overall financial health. So that allows you to set realistic budgets for what you're trying to achieve, right? Of course, this involves you having an understanding of what the business goals are, because we can't do anything without understanding what those business goals are. And this ensures that with the understanding of the business goal, that the marketing activity that you are trying to support financially is in line and supports the goal. So you're not just doing this activity and it's not going to bear fruit towards the overall goal. Because a simple example, if you have an overall business goal to grow in a particular market, right? Say one of your particular products you're trying to push, then the marketing effort has to guide people towards either buying more of the product or using the product more or using the product differently. You can't spend money doing something else because it won't be in alignment with your goal. So that's just a simple example of where you're keeping it tight as it pertains to the budget and how it relates to the overall goal, right? And with that in mind, you have to optimize. We love to use this word optimize on our show. You have to optimize the spend. So after you've allocated it, you want to at least say, okay, how are we optimizing the money in these various quarters? So you have to have an understanding of the SEO, the social media, the pay-per-click advertising. You want to make sure you have an understanding so that even after you've allocated, well, hey, here's $100,000. How is the $100,000 being utilized in the activity that's going to give you the most back for you, right? So I'm going to stop there for a little bit. That's the first point. I'm going to invite everybody to
practical example here. So we're running ads for Azalea Health Services as a part of their PCOS campaign. And we allocated a specific ad spend, and then we turned around, and the cost per click when we started was 7 cents on the low end and 11 cents on the high end. And then the cost per click dropped down to 4 cents. So that number now is something that we would be able to go back to the CFO to say, hey, actually, not take your money back, but here's what we estimated it to be about. When we estimated probably about 50 cents per click. So right away in this campaign, we're seeing significant cost savings. And, so a clear example where there's a conversation that marketing can now have with CFO, who's going to be like, what? You're saving me money?
And if I might add to
Absolutely.
this is a really important place where sales needs to be at the table, at the forefront with marketing and with finance to say, we're marketing this specific thing. And our anticipated outcome, when this is all said and done at this end, we're looking for this product that converts at this annual contract value to produce this number of sales that will yield this number of dollars. Therefore, our cost will yield this much money. So when we're putting that information at the table with the team, we have a clear, concise goal that we're looking for and something that our finance team can keep an eye out for and negotiate. I negotiate with my finance and my marketing people all the time to say, I hear you, but this is my anticipated outcome and what I need from you in order to do this. And if I get this, here's the additional marketing spend I'm going to need because I'm going to self-fund this project. So I'm doubling down and putting more pressure on my marketing people to get this done because we've got a clear goal and where we're trying to get to. And if sales is not at that table, then we're going to be in trouble because we're shooting out in the dark.
And last but not least, just circling all the way back around, finance has that holistic view of the business, whereas each department is looking at what they are responsible for. So you sit at that table and literally everybody comes with their budget and finance has to say yes or no. So optimizing spend, this is where finance and marketing and sales, exactly as Michelle said, need to sit together, look at that historical data. Where are we going to optimize? Did SEO work well, better than expected, just as in Tamara's example? Do we lean in there? Do we pull back in another area? Are we looking to go more organic this year or not? Or are we looking at a paid strategy? So that discussion, that's what we're pressing home. Having that discussion among the silos is where you can get to that optimization and understand why these limits are set in a certain way. So as we said, each department has their target, has their goal, but it's always an interplay of departments. Everybody has a role and everybody has an input that leads to the output. You don't want sales selling things that you can't produce at the same time, right? Say you don't have the capacity. So just a couple of things, because I know we're tight for time this morning. But yes, that's the opening. Break that silo and make sure that everybody's sitting at that table. Finance definitely has input, that perception, a perspective that is unique and actually can guide where your targets are really set and how they shift during the course of the year.
All right,
All
on to
right.
the next question.
So our next question is, how does the finance department contribute to measuring the return on investment or the ROI of digital marketing initiatives? So I love this point. I could go to town on this point, but we're not going to, right? Because at the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about, right? It's about how are you getting back something for the money that you spent. That is, if you ever wanted to understand what an ROI is, that is the basic definition. What are you getting back based on what you put in? So finance provides the framework. So how does finance contribute? Well, finance gives you the framework and the tools to track the financial results of digital marketing campaigns. So we're looking at metrics like cost per lead. We're looking at metrics like customer acquisition costs and return on ad spend. These are just 3 examples. Cost per lead is marketing spend over the number of leads. It's very simple formulas, but at the end of the day, these are the metrics that you want to understand to be able to know, well, am I getting back something reasonable based on what I spent? Now, here's the problem though, and here's where I want to speak specifically to the CFOs on this. While these are good metrics and you want to know what those metrics are, the challenge that you're going to have is, are you set up to track that data? Are you set up to capture the data in the way that it will allow you to make this calculation, right? If you're not tracking sales by geography, let's just say you're a company that operating in different areas, or you have different product lines. If you're not tracking the sales down to the product or down to the geography, or even if you're not tracking sales based on where it came from. For example, how do you know how much sales came from your website versus somebody coming into your store? If you don't have the structure that allows you to make that differentiation and make that separation, you're going to find it difficult to be able to have these ROIs. So while your contribution is to measure, while these are an example of the formulas that you use to measure, if you don't have the financial structure, the backing to get the contributing factors, this is where, and I think this is what is happening, where CFOs don't see the value. And it's not that because the value isn't there, it's just that it's not being captured in a way that it translates to the CFO. So tracking ROI is one of the most important ways that finance contributes to understand, the return on investment of digital marketing. However, my caveat is the biggest challenge is ensuring that your systems allow you to get the information, to get the number of leads, to get the number of specific sale transactions for you to understand, oh, I got sales from this particular campaign. If your digital back end is not giving you the information, then this is where the disconnect happens.
I love this point because this is where the KPIs come in, and this is where all the tracking codes come in, and this is where Google Analytics comes in, and this is where we start. This is where, again, we break the silos and we sit down to understand what metrics do you need to understand to track back to money in the bank. So customer acquisition costs, right? Every tool that we use tells us about a customer acquisition cost. If we're using Google Ads, it tells us. If we're using a paid tool, we understand, hey, we're using this tool, we're paying $200 a month for it, here's the information it gives. So digital marketing actually is rich with ROI trackers or factors that can actually go back to the CFO. But again, it's that conversation that's missing. So I'm glad you highlighted that. They're absolutely there. And there are dashboards that can be created to support that as well, right? So tools like Looker Studio, which is free and a part of the Google Analytics, Google suite of tools. Low key, Google is the boss. I'm not a fan or anything. I'm just saying we use it so much. But Looker is a great way for you to be able to pull those factors in to say, hey, I want to understand my customer acquisition costs. I want to understand my cost per lead. Now, of course, you have to roll in any pre-cost that may have been offline to tie that back to the digital marketing. So you may still have to do some math, but the numbers can be there. And every campaign can be connected back to a code, a UTM code, or whatever code you add to the end of it to say it came from this specific campaign. Yeah. And your CRM and your web presence becomes important with that as well, too, and being able to set up some of that tracking, because you should be able to track all the way to the thank you page and then to the next email that they received. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to take it back to the beginning too, and something that we spoke about before. When we start this, when we're planning our strategy, some of the things I speak with my Lanyap clients, especially those where we're having pricing conversations and trying to determine what the pricing is and setting those goals. In a pricing calculator that I work through with them, we define exactly what that cost is for that service or that good, to understand what we're going to look to yield for our goals on the long run. And that sharing of information, or sitting down and doing that with your finance person, is key. That information sharing, that mind sharing information is important, especially in this space, not just with finance and ops, but marketing as well, because we're setting the stage and understanding what's the right place and what's that CAC, that customer acquisition costs, plus what we're going to yield and flow through at the end of it. So it's really key that we talk about this at the very onset as well, so that we can judge what we need on the back end and change the course when we're finding something works better than other places, because some things may be yielding a better revenue, bottom line revenue, to be a sustainable business. And that's what we're trying to get to. growing that revenue in a sustainable fashion.
And here we really wanted to highlight as well. So Tamara said it, there are a lot of data points that marketing can provide. And Andrea and I had a discussion about this yesterday, because of course it's how do you understand which line items are you taking? So as much as the formulas that we have look very simple, right? Sales and marketing expense, but that's made up of a lot of different line items, direct and indirect. We can go on and on into, all the ins and outs of what that looks like. But you want to make sure you're having that discussion to say, okay, these are the data points that we're going to use to track, because we talked about it in the cases of, say, an evergreen campaign, right? Where somebody comes in and you get a client, but you can't directly connect it per se, let's say, to the evergreen campaign. They've been seeing the campaign all the time. Maybe they took a different route to come in, but it's because of the evergreen campaign. So we think that a lot of CFOs maybe have a problem with, how do I attribute now what the cost that is to that customer, and how do I now set that budget going forward based on what I'm seeing? So these are the ways to use those data points.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the challenge for CFOs, the appreciation and understanding that the points that are available to you are a lot more than traditional. So traditionally, you put an ad in the newspaper and that's it. That was the end of the discussion. The ad went out, you put up a billboard. But now you have to open your eyes and expand your parameters to appreciate that digital are giving you all these different collection points. Previously, you might have just attributed the sale to a sales rep. You might have just said, oh, well, this sales rep, he handles this particular area, maybe geography or product, and he brought in X amount. But now we're saying, no, we can actually go beyond the sales rep who closed the sale and actually say how the customer got there. And that's where CFOs need to come into the conversation to understand that there are a lot more data points that you can get, and you can get data. And listen, as accountants, we love data. We love information because that's what allows us to do our job. So with all these different data points, you can now make a better educated assessment of your situation and drive straight down to within the campaign. Yeah, well, should we do SEO, or should we do this, or should we do that? You can actually get very granular and very specific, and that's what we want. We want to be able to attribute costs correctly. So there's a call now to CFOs you need to be more open to what digital is offering, because digital is offering you a lot more than what traditional marketing used to offer you.
Can I get a testify?
Right.
Can I go?
Testify.
Money is sexy.
All right.
Cut that part. Rewind.
I need that part. I need that audio and the video part. I need that piece to use. Okay.
Exactly.
You need that piece.
I need that piece. Thank you.
All right. So moving on. So point number 3, I think which 3? Yes. How does collaboration and communication between finance and marketing teams contribute to the success of the digital marketing campaigns? And I mean, we talk about this all the time on the show, not operating in silos, bringing all these heads together for one common purpose. Alignment with business goals. This is where the collaboration communication works best, because it allows everybody to ensure that finance and marketing teams are working together to ensure that the campaign that you're putting together is aligned with the business goals. And that's what I said earlier, because the business goals, remember, the CFO sits at a level that he's seeing everyone, as Michael said. The CFO is seeing what all the departments are doing, and the CFO has the business level information about how they want the overall business to go. Each department is contributing in some way to that forward movement. You may not have you may be sitting in sales and may not have an appreciation exactly for how your participation is moving the business forward, but there is a link. So the CFO now, by being part of these different conversations, brings that information that you may not have necessarily had access to before to say, hang on, if you go this way, then production is going to go that way. And we can't afford for production to go that way. And it could be as simple as saying, you cannot push this particular product right now from a marketing side, because what you don't know is that the raw material to make this product, the price has shot up and we actually need to pull back. So no, is there something else that we can market right now in order for us to meet our overall sales target? So
I love that.
that
Connecting the dots. And we say it all the time, right?
connecting the dots, right? Breaking the
silos.
silos, and now, coming through that wall of, oh, you may only be seeing this, but the impact of your decision is impacting other areas. So definitely alignment with business goals is one of the key things that you accomplish by collaboration. And the other thing is data sharing, right? Transparency. So I'm not just saying, the CFO is not just saying, no, you can't do that. I can't give you extra money to market this product. The CFO is saying, I can't do this because it's going to have a ripple effect on this side. So sharing information, sharing that data, and communicating between the two departments. You provide marketing with insights, you explain to them the budget constraints, and with the sharing of information, everybody gets along better, I would say. And then not only gets along better, but they're getting on the same page. You're reading from the same page, you're reading from the same chapter, you're reading from the same book, right? So
Yeah.
that's one of the key points there.
Love that. Love that. Love that. All right.
I'm going to
So
say
we
something
are
really brief and then move on. I take that as a challenge to double down and to overachieve with sales and marketing, to surpass what that budget is, so that we can reinvest and to move forward and to have it be a self-funding project. So when my finance team says that, I take it as a challenge. Like, okay, I hear you, and I'll do you one better. And let's bring it, and it makes it fun, and we are all acknowledging and watching the cash register ring and watching that flow through. So just a different viewpoint on that part. Let's negotiate.
all right. Well, final thoughts, Michael. I'm going to kick it over to you first.
So, as we said, we wanted to talk. We've been past couple of weeks kind of going around the room, right? So today was finance turn at the table. I think this was a worthwhile discussion with a lot of things for finance to think about and marketing to think about as well, because we're talking about both sides and how they communicate with each other and what do they say. So finance having that very crucial and critical role in a business. It's very key to understand that in this digital age, there are many data points you can now rely on that you previously may not have had, no matter what the size of the business is. And if you have very defined customer journeys and marketing campaigns, then you can work with marketing to really correctly attribute costs and calculate that ROI.
Go, Michelle.
I think from this perspective, from my history, I'm fortunate that I have had time in a revenue aspect, a sales, a marketing, and an operations to see a holistic view. But many of our small business owners don't. And what this message to me, especially from a sales perspective, is you have to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to understand and relate and get into what's the heartbeat of the other teams that you're working with, especially on the finance side, and learn and educate them in your world so that everyone can rise to the occasion and move the business forward in a healthy way and see and clear the blind spots. That's going to make the business healthier. It's going to help make you stronger, and it's going to make you a sustainable business.
So the takeaway I want CFOs to take today is the need to pay some more attention to what is happening in sales and marketing, and not just blindly sign off the allocation, and not just say, well, I know we need to advertise and I know we need to market, so I'm just going to sign. Once I have the money in the budget, I'll give it to them. No, you need to participate. And participating means having an appreciation for the nuances that exist inside marketing, especially digital marketing. So spend some time understanding what are the different insights that you can glean from marketing. We spoke about some of the ROIs, the cost per lead, the customer acquisition cost. Get very familiar with these formulas and with these KPIs so that you can start to see when decisions are made how it affects the KPI before anything happens, right? You want to be able to get familiar, you want to be able to know it so that you can participate actively in discussion and ensure that marketing dollars really bring back something for the company rather than just being an expense line in your profit and loss.
What she says.
Not just a line item.
Great show, great show. We really definitely needed this. I love this twist, and I love the conversation to CFOs because I think it's a really valid conversation. So thank you so much for this. Thank you for a great show with Debbie. This was amazing. I know it was jam-packed. So all right, so let me get the housekeeping out of the way, and then we'll get out of here. So definitely connect with us, okay? Subscribe, check us out on YouTube. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you can't catch us live, that's okay. We're everywhere podcasts are found: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all the places. Definitely check us out. Tell a business owner about this. Tell a business executive about this show. What we're doing is we're connecting the dots back to ROI, back to money in the bank, how digital marketing really works to help you increase your revenue. We want you to go back to your CFO and say, we increased revenue by 10%, by 20% year over year. All right. Have an amazing, amazing day. We will see you guys here next Monday. Take care.